Hello students, soon we will be taking on replication in detail. I'll be discussing the processes and enzymes involved in replication. But before that, you need to know what's the model of replication, right? And it was proved by the most beautiful experiment in biology, all right? Now, yes, I am talking about Meselson and Stahl experiment, and literally this experiment has been told like this, the most beautiful experiment in biology. So what was the need of this experiment? Now, you know, in 1953, Watson and Crick discovered the DNA structure, right? And one hypothesis cannot be hold true in any field, be it physics, be it chemistry. A theory will only be proved, a hypothesis will only be proved if an experimental biologist or an experimental physicist replicates that same hypothesis in lab. So this is what happened when 5 years later Matthew Meselson and Franklin Stahl replicated their theory of semi-conservative replication in an experimental model. Now, prior to that, there were three theories. So as you can see, number one is the conservative replication. The conservative replication says the replicated DNA results in one double strand DNA that belongs to the parent and one completely new daughter strand, right? There was another model known as dispersive. It hypothesized that parent strand disintegrated and the daughter strand ultimately found with fragments of parent and daughter strand. So both parent and daughter strand had fragments, right? And the last model, that was the last that was received on those days, the number one and number two were supported by many, right? But least they knew that this one, in which they did not believe, was actually the true thing that we know today, right? So they said semi-conservative replication says each double strand has one parent strand and new one daughter strand. Correct? It may seem very silly to you, right, these days, but yes, this is true. So as we can see in pictorial form, if we consider conservative replication, considering the new, okay, I'll turn on the pointer, considering this as a parent strand, right? The parent strand being blue in color, the daughter strand will be a completely new strand that is red in color. And as the generation progresses, the further the daughter strands will be synthesized in a new manner. Correct? What dispersive replication told us? Dispersive told us that the parent and daughter strand will be a fragment, a mixture of both the strand, both blue and red will be mixed, okay, fragments like that. But semi-conservative told us, the diagram figures may seem confusing over here, but semi-conservative told us that one parent strand will be blue and one daughter strand will be red. These two, the semi-conservative and dispersive, may not look similar in the first generation, right? But differences start to creep in when we look into the second generation. In second generation, what happens? If it is dispersive, the whole model will remain dispersive and all the parent and daughter strand will remain similar, because in each generation, as per this model, we are taking fragments of parental strand. However, in semi-conservative model, you can see when this red becomes a parent, all right, it will contribute its one strand and the new strand will be synthesized from a daughter DNA. Okay, so you see, without an experiment, this whole thing seems so confusing, right? So what actually happened? These two gentlemen, these two scientists designed an experiment where they grew the bacteria in a medium containing ammonium chloride, okay? But that ammonium chloride, that nitrogen of that ammonium chloride, NH4Cl, was heavy isotope of nitrogen. As you know, what's heavy isotope? You know heavy isotope? Heavy isotope is N15, right? N15, the traditional isotope that we get all over in our atmosphere is N14, right? So N15 is a bit heavier than N14. It has got 8 neutrons, okay, 1 neutron extra, and per mole it weighs 15 gram, whereas that's the molecular weight. 1 mole of N40 nitrogen weighs 14 grams. So why heavy nitrogen was chosen for the experiment? So this was the first thing that you need to know, that examiner will ask you. The thing is, because nitrogen is an integral part of the structure of our body, right? But we are not dealing with complex human bodies, we are dealing with bacteria. Even in bacteria, the nuclear material, that is ATGC, they also contain nitrogen. In this specific experiment, the nitrogen of the thymine was targeted. Okay. This you need to know, the nitrogen of thymine is changed in case of the bacteria that grows in heavy medium. Now, what's the experiment? The experiment was the bacteria E. coli, okay, Escherichia coli, was grown in a medium containing heavy ammonium chloride for several generations. So what happens? Bacteria will start synthesizing the nuclear material from the available medium, right? Because as they are growing, they are replicating. So after many generations, what happened? All the thymine of the bacteria, the nitrogen was synthesized from the ammonium chloride, so they were totally replaced with heavy nitrogen, right? So this bacteria now is called heavy bacteria. You get my point? Because if we isolate 1 mole of this bacteria, or suppose if you isolate 1000 particles of that bacteria, it will simply physically be heavier, right, compared to the bacteria that is growing in normal ammonium chloride, right? So they grew bacteria in heavy as well as in light medium. But as a part of their experiment, what they did was, they also transferred some of the bacteria from N15. Okay, they took some amount of bacteria from the N15 and they transferred that to a medium ammonium chloride that contained N14 nitrogen, right? So the hypothesis being, now when new bacteria colonies or new bacteria are synthesized, they will derive nitrogen from the medium that contains light or normal nitrogen. So the parent in this case is heavy, but the subsequent daughters are now containing light nitrogen, right? So this was actually the experiment, and then they took samples and isolated DNA every 20 minutes, because 20 minutes is the generation time of E. coli. Another MCQ point, very important. So in 20 minutes, the whole E. coli will be completely, the colony will be double. Suppose there are 2 bacteria, there will be 4 bacteria after 20 minutes. So if there are 4 bacteria, there will be 8 bacteria after 20 minutes. So every 20 minutes they are taking a sample. Mind it, in today's date it is very easier. You can just simply sequence a DNA and you will know what the structure is, right? But back in the day, only DNA isolation was possible. Sequencing was not available. It's 1958, right? So this experiment was of tremendous value. Now what they did was, see, bacteria was growing in heavy medium, right? They transferred the bacteria to the light medium. So now in subsequent generations, the daughters are synthesizing the strands from the medium that contains light nitrogen, right? So these subsequent generation of samples was now put into a cesium chloride density gradient. Now what's special about cesium chloride? If you put cesium chloride, the solution of cesium chloride weighs 17 gram per mole. Okay, 17 gram per mole. But if this thing is centrifuged, okay, if we put this, it's so hot in here, if it is put in an ultra centrifuge, what happens? Cesium chloride, normally a solution is homogeneous, but this cesium chloride on centrifugation, it arranges itself in such a way so that the densest part, the most dense part will be at the bottom, and slowly it will rarefy. Okay, so this part will be the lightest, least dense, and this part will be the most dense. The most dense part, the density is 17 gram per mole. and as we go up, it changes from 15 to 16 to 14, like that, right? And in case of centrifugation, the particles that have similar weight are at the same level. So now you can guess what happened. As they put these samples into the cesium chloride density gradient solution, the whole bacteria were actually precipitated as a band. Suppose here the density is 16, okay, here the density is 15. Here we got the band of the bacteria of heavy chain, right? And just above that, suppose here the density is 14. These are separated by decimals, 15.9, 15.8, like that. So there is a huge gap. So over here we got a band of N14. Okay. Now the importance of this experiment. So now you know the basic concept that the bacteria which has complete heavy strand will give a band at 15, and a bacteria which has got a complete collection of light strand will give band at 14. Correct? Now, the experiment was able to be deduced or hypothesized. The results were analyzed only when we analyze the patterns of the daughter strands, the subsequent generation. So, let us look how the models of each hypothesis, that is replication model, would have looked considering the experimental outcome. So see, this was the result of Meselson and Stahl. We'll come back to it later, right? Let us first look, what if it was a case of conservative replication. Now see, in case of conservative replication, what happens? The parent strand will remain a parent strand, and in second generation, what will happen? A parent strand will remain as parent strand, because we are not harming any parent strand. Okay, when 2 bacteria becomes 4, the 2 initial remains as parent and 2 completely new daughter will be synthesized. So in first generation, 50% daughter and 50% parent. So heavy 50 and light 50. So 15N band is 50% and 14N bacteria is 50%. In the next generation, what happens? In the next generation, where the supplying material is light, so what will happen? This will give rise to 2 heavy and 2 light. This will give rise to 2 light, and the new daughter strand will be light. Okay, considering this as heavy H and these as L. So in all subsequent generations, there will be one consistent band that we will have at 15. You get my point? Because one parent strand will always remain heavy and the new daughter strand will continue to rise in number. So we should have got one heavy band at N15, and as the generations increase, the amount of band at the light N14 region will increase. Fine. What if the model is dispersive model? In case of dispersive model, what will happen? Right in the next generation, there will be no heavy band left, because dispersive model suggests that both parent and daughter strand breaks and 50% will remain parent and 50% component will remain as daughter. So at the first generation, we will get a band which is between 15 and 14. Correct? So if this one is heavy, what will happen? Heavy and light, like that. So see over here, considering the red as heavy, the yellow as light, each strand breaks and then we get a band. We should have got a band that is in between 15 and 14. Subsequently, when this breaks, what will happen? This whole red thing will become smaller and smaller, but there will be no complete band at the heavy region, because there is no actual parent strand that is left. So this will continue unless all the daughters are 100% and whole parent strand is completely lost, and we will get a subsequent band at N14. You get my point, right? So whole thing will be dispersive. The whole parent strand is dispersed, so there will be no band at the heavy chain in subsequent generation. Now let us look at the semi-conservative model. So what will happen in case of semi-conservative model? Very interesting. In first generation, so suppose this is heavy H and this is L. Okay, I don't have another color, so I'm trying to draw the same thing in a different way. It will take time. Okay, I can change the color. So blue. Okay, so suppose, I'm messing it up anyway, so better the ink color remains red. So just visualize that the heavy chain, the parent strand is red and the daughter strand is blue. Fine. So what will happen in case of semi-conservative replication? When the heavy chain breaks, okay, it will give rise to a DNA. Since the two new daughter strands are synthesized from N14 media, so one will be synthesized, one strand will consist of N14 and one strand will consist of N15. So when we centrifuge, we get this whole thing. So this whole thing will weigh in between 15 and 14, because, you get my point, one strand, if you are lost, let me go back to the conservative model. In case of conservative model, the whole double strand was weighing 15 because both the strands are synthesized from 15 and the lighter strands are synthesized from 14, so both are weighing 14. In case of dispersive model, they are weighing in between because it is consisting of 15 and 14, but it is fragmented components, not total. In case of semi-conservative, this whole thing is one parent strand heavy and one daughter strand light, but when we average them out, it will neither give a band on 14 or it will neither give a band at 15, but it will lie somewhere in between. That is exactly what happened in the first generation, and 100% of the band is supposed to be at the intermediate generation in case of semi-conservative replication. Now see, this is an intermediate with one heavy and one light. Now in second generation, this becomes a parent. So what will happen? Now this heavy and this light will now segregate into two coding strand, template strand, right? So from N14, this will be synthesized, and from another N14, so this was light already, this is synthesized. You get my point? So this one is heavy, this one is light, this one is light, and this one is light. So in the second generation, what will happen? There will be one intermediate band and one completely light band, right? So that is what happening. Remember, the difference between conservative and semi-conservative is, in case of conservative, we are getting a consistent heavy band at heavy, because the conservative replication says that we cannot alter the parent DNA. So parent DNA was both heavy, but in case of semi-conservative, one parent strand is remaining, that is heavy, and one newly synthesized strand is there, which is light. So the total becomes 14.5. This is what is happening in semi-conservative, that the intermediate band is getting thinned as we go further and lighter bands are getting thick, right? So this was actually the result of Watson and Crick. They got one band at the 100% band at intermediate zone in first generation, and subsequently the band at the intermediate zone started thinning and the band at the lighter zone started thickening. So this is in contrast with conservative. Conservative also shows this pattern, okay, but the 100% intermediate band is not there in case of conservative, and we get the parent band at heavy. In case of semi-conservative, the parent band is at the intermediate position, and subsequently the lighter band starts to thicken. So this is the Meselson and Stahl experiment. This is not a quiz, this is actually an MCQ that came in multiple exams, so very easy. So what Meselson and Stahl performed the most beautiful experiment in biology that proved DNA replicates semi-conservatively. Okay, this is not the correct answer. Semi-conservatively. So what all you need to study? You need to study for Viva semi-conservative model, conservative model, dispersive model, Meselson and Stahl experiment, heavy isotope of nitrogen. Also, examiner may ask you the most beautiful experiment in biology, right? And next, in next class, we will be continuing with DNA replication. So, expectations are you should know the importance of replication, you should know the proposed models of DNA replication, and you should know the Meselson and Stahl experiment. Whenever you are asked what is the experimental evidence of DNA replication, this is one experimental evidence. There are multiple other experiments, but this you should know first. So that's it for today's video. Yes, I know for a simple topic it was a long video, but you should get the concepts clearly, and I will see you in the next one. For any queries, please feel free to post in the comment section. Till then, bye and take care.